You ever find yourself standing in front of someone important? A hiring manager, a potential client, someone who could open a door, but your brain just blanks? you know, you should be ready to shine, but instead, you just stammer out your job title, maybe a couple of buzzwords, and what? Their eyes glaze over. And just like that, your shot is gone. The door is closed, literally and figuratively. And that's what happens when you don't have a solid elevator pitch. And trust me, I've been there. It's a terrible feeling. But here's the fix. You don't need to be flashy. You need to be clear. Know who you help, what problem you solve, and how you make life better. And say it like you're tying this bow tie, step by step, with quiet confidence. And here's a tip. Record yourself saying it before you get into that situation. Just once. If it sounds stiff, rewrite it. If it sounds like you, then you're halfway there. Tonight, we are going to build your pitch together, and we'll get it tied up just right. And don't forget, stick around to the end for the Mastery Minute tonight, and I'll reveal an old school sales idiom that might just change the way you see yourself. And if you've got questions about your pitch or want help fine-tuning it, drop them in the chat and I'll answer a few live at the end of the show. Now let's dive right into it. Let me introduce you to Emily. Quick story. I once coached a marketing manager named Emily. She was, as always, very smart, very talented, very capable manager. But every networking event for her was a disaster. When someone asked, "What do you do?" she would freeze. Her answer sounded like it came from her resume. So we worked on one thing, her elevator pitch. 60 seconds, clear, human, memorable. And the very next event, she nailed it. One of the listeners introduced her to the hiring manager of a big firm, and 2 weeks later, she got a job offer. And the moral of the story is, a great pitch doesn't just describe what you do. It shows people who you are and why they should care. So if you're ready, let's jump into it. And let's break down exactly how you can build your own unforgettable pitch step by step. Whether you're prepping for a job fair or a coffee chat or anything, could be a surprise encounter in an elevator. This is your moment to shine. And if anything clicks or doesn't, drop a question in the chat and I will again answer a few after the Mastery Minute. Because look, your 60-second pitch, think of it as a recipe for connection. Okay? And you need only 4 ingredients. We're going to talk about those right now. Number 1, who you are. This means your name and your job. Don't think of it as anything more important than that. This is your opener, the moment you make your first impression. And first impressions matter. Why? Because people form opinions about you in seconds. And if you start with something dry, like I'm an engineer at X company, their attention drifts. But if you spark curiosity, they lean in. So here's the formula. You need your name, you need your role, and you need your value. Okay, what does that mean? So let me give you Emily's example. She said, "Hi, I'm Emily Chen, and I help companies create marketing strategies that actually convert leads into customers." Oh, does she say I'm a marketing manager? No. What does this do? She gave her name, she gave her role. She helps tech companies in marketing and the value that it brings. So she's a marketing strategist. There's your function. There's your role. Who does she serve? She serves tech companies and highlight the results. She's good at converting leads into customers. It works because it's simple, it's specific, and relevant. So action verbs like help, create, solve, guide, those instantly show what you do in motion. So they turn your pitch from a label like manager into a story. So here's your tip. Start by writing 3 different versions of your intro. Then test them out loud and choose the one that feels the most natural and makes people ask, "Ooh, how do you do that?" Because that leads into our next part. Who you help. This is your audience or your market. And so once you've introduced yourself, now it's your time to zoom in on your audience. Who do you serve? Because when people hear your pitch, they're silently asking themselves, is this relevant to me? Does it matter? And this matters for you because it shows you understand the space that you're in. It builds trust. If you're too vague about what you do, you sound unfocused. But if you're specific, your listener starts to visualize. Okay? They can see how you might help them, or maybe someone they know. All right, here's a good example. What Emily said, I work mainly with early stage startups that are ready to scale their customer base. Okay, she's talking to who her audience is. So why does this work? Because it narrows the field. Her field is early stage startups. It clarifies the goal, scaling customers, getting more customers. And it signals alignment. You understand their growth phase. So the person you're talking to, now they can quickly assess whether they or someone in their network might need what you have to offer. So here's a tip. Get specific if you have to. You can use industry names, company sizes, or specific pain points that your audience might feel and that you help to solve. The clearer your audience, the more memorable your pitch. Now, what problem do you solve? This is the heart of your pitch. Remember that people don't buy products or services. And right now you're going, what? No, really. They buy solutions to their problems. So they listen for pain points and wonder, can this person fix my problem? So that's why this part of your pitch is critical. It turns your pitch from a monologue into something that the listener feels. You're naming the pain point. So Emily said, most startups waste money on ads that don't work. She's named the pain point. I help them build funnels that bring in consistent, measurable results. Boom. So she's naming the pain point, wasting money on bad ads. She's promising a result, consistent, measurable results. And as a result, you get something that sounds helpful instead of salesy. You don't want to sound like a used car salesman, right? So how do we build this? Think about the biggest challenge that your audience faces. Then explain how you solve it. Not with jargon or fancy words that are related to your field, but in clear, relatable terms. So, and if you frame this from the listener's point of view, use language they would use to describe their frustration, because then you're showing empathy and expertise in what their problem is. So, finally, here's the fourth ingredient: a memorable closer. I call this the mic drop moment. This is the part that makes someone say, "Wow, that was clever," or better yet, "Tell me more." Why does this work? Because people remember stories and metaphors and things like that better than bullet points or features. A strong close ties your message together like this bow tie in a way that feels fresh and human. Okay? So Emily said, basically, I'm like a GPS for startup growth. I help them avoid expensive detours and get where they want to go faster. A GPS or a navigator. So use GPS. She used, I'm like a GPS. That's a metaphor. And what that does is it signals confidence without sounding like you're bragging. And it leaves a visual impression. Now they can visualize and see it clearly, and then they'll remember you. Being memorable is very, very useful in business, right? So great closers often include these metaphors, analogies, playful language, or a tagline-like phrase. They don't just summarize your work, they package it in a way that's easy to remember. Think about how you describe your work to a 10-year-old or your grandma, and if it makes them smile, then you're on the right track. So, bonus reminders: remember to practice out loud. If it feels awkward, then it sounds awkward. Record yourself and aim for clear, natural, confident delivery. And finally, smile. A real one, because it matters. People can see the smile in your eyes. So let's put it all together. And you get something like this. Hi, I'm Emily Chen, and I help startups turn their marketing from guesswork into a growth machine. I work with early stage founders who are tired of throwing their money at ads that don't work. Instead, I help them build clear funnels that attract and convert real customers. Basically, I'm a GPS for startup growth. Bam! 45 seconds. Powerful, clear, and human. All right. So, this is great. Your mission for this week is write down your 60-second pitch. Record it on your phone. Then listen to it with fresh ears. Does it sound clear? Does it sound like you? If not, then tweak it and try it again. And now's the time. If you want help, drop it in the comments or chats and send it my way. I'd love to help you fine-tune it. You can also visit allaboutenglishmastery.com /elevator pitch. No, that's not right. Just look for the link in the comments or in the bio or description, and read the original blog post to get more ideas. And if you haven't yet, hit the subscribe button. Join the newsletter at the website. Don't forget to share this with other people who are dying to get better at their jobs, like doing elevator pitches. Okay, no, it's not time for Thai Talks. Now it's time for the Mastery Minute. Yes, that means we're getting to the end, and I think this is my favorite part of the show, the Mastery Minute, because I love idioms. And today's idiom is sell yourself short. Ooh, what does that mean? Well, no, it doesn't have anything to do with discounts or Wall Street. Well, maybe a little bit about Wall Street. To sell yourself short means to underestimate your own abilities, to present yourself as less capable or valuable than you really are. Here's the thing. When you don't value your own work, why should anyone else? If you walk into a conversation and say, "Oh, I just do a bit of design," you're telling the world that you're not worth their attention. But if you confidently say, I help small businesses build clean, modern websites that attract customers, well, people listen because now they understand your value and they remember it. You are not a discount item. Okay? The phrase actually comes from the world of finance and stock selling. If you sell a stock short, you're betting that it will lose value. When you sell yourself short, you're doing the same thing to yourself. So, like I said, you're not a discount item. On a clearance rack, you are the product of years of effort, learning, and growth. Your pitch should reflect that. So, look at your current elevator pitch and ask, are you underselling yourself? Are you using language that downplays your skills? If so, rewrite it. Speak with pride and speak with purpose. Don't sell yourself short. Own your story and pitch it like a pro. And with that, it's time to wrap it up. Episode 40. Can you believe it? This is 40 episodes of 15-minute mastery. Now you've got the tools to build a clear, confident, and compelling elevator pitch. And next time, on Wednesday, we are talking about one of the most overlooked skills in leadership in the workplace: active listening. You'll learn how to stop multitasking, start connecting, and show people they're actually being heard. And we're going to go beyond just the basics and dive into how good listening can make you more persuasive and get you more respect and make you more of a trusted leader in your office. If you're in a meeting or on a call or just having coffee with a colleague, you don't want to miss this episode. And until then, keep practicing, keep curious, and never sell yourself short. Also, don't underestimate the power of a well-tied bow tie. I'll see you on Wednesday night.